Right, all right. We'll wait a few minutes for the majority of people to get in. My name is Adam Miller. I'm speaking today directly towards real estate agents. And what's going to be great is I'm going to show you guys a different way to prospect cold market that and build relationships, which is going to be really important for you to learn how to do. And it's not easy, but once you have something like this in place, you're going to be able to do something different that you never thought was possible and build these relationships. We're going to talk about what people focus on related to farms. We're going to talk a little bit about what title reps can help you do, as well as reaching out to different groups of people. Look, the data's out there. Everybody else has it but you. So, what I'd like to just show and explain is a system that we've set together to help you gain more insight and details to what is important in your business. Okay. We're talking about seasoned real estate agents. We're talking about beginners, people that just started yesterday, got their license. They haven't even checked out what brokerage, in fact, they want to work with yet. And I definitely suggest doing your due diligence. It's super important that you guys do your due diligence when you're working with a reputable company. There's a lot of them out there. If I was going to make a recommendation, there's a lot of great agencies on the local level that have really done it right. But what you're going to find is a lot of these agencies are going to scale up and start working with Zillow. And Zillow, if they get their way, they're going to be controlling the market. And they put a lot of work in to get there. So I'm not condemning them. I'm just saying they'll own the business at one point. And what's really important for you to understand is that you have to build a sphere of influence. And so this is a non-negotiable. This is something that you've heard since you got into real estate, since, you've struggled to do one deal every other month. I understand the process. I've actually seen successful real estate agents who do 2 to 3 deals a month. I've seen successful real estate agents that do 100 deals a year. So you might fall in between these ranges of categories and people that I'm talking about, and you just might be getting started. So it's really important for you to understand I'm talking to everybody here. Okay. So without further ado, let's get started. So the reality and the details of this is to be able to double your closings in 90 days. And doesn't mean 90 days from the day that you start. It means 90 days from the day that you start to learn how to utilize the system that I'm going to show you. This can work for anybody. And if you double down on this, there's 2 things that you're going to be able to do. You're going to, number one, if you decide that you're going to move to another brokerage, you can bring your deals with you. You no longer have to concern yourself with these internal CRMs for businesses, because their whole goal is to, if you leave, they're going to keep those leads. They're going to nurture those leads, right? So you have to have an independent system that you can carry with yourself wherever you go. And there's no doubt in your mind and your broker's mind that these are deals that you brought with you, or these are people and sphere of influence you brought with you. So that's really a critical point of the way this system operates. So double your closings in 90 days. We're going to use automation, AI marketing without extra staff. So that means that a few things. First of all, you're inundated with digital. I can tell. You've got KV Core, you've got other big programs that are proprietary, and they want you to pump those leads in there. And that's great. If that's what you want to do, they make it very simple for you to do that. However, if you want to do something that gives you 100% control without worrying about the stipulations of what broker am I at, what agency am I at, what are the new rules of the place that I just went to, right? So using automation, AI, and controlling the outcome of your business is the only key that I want to hammer into you right now. Now, this is a very low cost system, and we're not going to talk about it right now, but we are going to talk about it. So I don't want you to have to worry about juggling, 10 or 15 different apps in order for you to have success in your business. And I hope that that's where you are, right? And what we've done is we've discovered a system and we've cultivated this system in order to be able to have better relationships, conversations, and so on and so forth. Okay. So let's just dive right in. All right. So is this you? The daily realtor struggle, right? So you have app overload. You're exhausted by the things that you have to manage in order to just have a conversation. Look, if we go real basic and we go back 20 years, we're in 2025 right now. And we go back 20 years, none of this stuff existed. Imagine that, just building community, having conversations with people, saying, hey, look, I know you love that house. Would you like to buy it? Can I represent you? These are things, right? So app overload is a real thing. Decision fatigue is a real thing. And imagine now having a CRM that will help you do scheduling, that'll help you put items in your pipeline related to a 30-day process, a 45-day process, a 60-day process in terms of closing deals. Now, if you had a predictable system like this, you'd be able to win, not just sometimes, but all the time. Okay. So let's talk about lead follow-up chaos. So the lead follow-up is a real big deal. What I found is that if you don't nurture conversations from past closings or FISBOs or just listed or just sold or any of those things, you have a really tough time. The predictable data in the MLS system and other systems that you use is there to tell you what's sold in the area. So imagine now contacting your an attorney. If you're an attorney state, you're going to get the details there. If it's a escrow state like we are here, then you're going to have a conversation and get the farm of that neighborhood, and you're going to double down on it. Doesn't mean you have to spend a ridiculous amount of information and time and money on print ads, but I do suggest it. I do suggest doing postcards, farming an area. In the neighborhood that I'm in, there's probably about 10 houses for sale, and I would say there's probably 300 to 500 in here. So I already know that homes are selling in my area. So now if I'm not able to go and farm that neighborhood to get at least one or two of those transactions, do a good job for that person, and then push forward for the agents that I represent, then it makes no sense, right? But follow up is going to be the biggest key to your business. And it brings me to the next situation, which is growth without burnout. It's hard enough to manage 2 to 3 transactions, let alone your first one. So imagine now uh, you're doing 2 to 3 transactions, and you're trying to say, hey, it would be great if I could, level up and start to give the same information that I give to my clients. I can take advantage of that same information, such as, buying a second house within the area, an investment property, doing rentals, et cetera, which is going to build your wealth. And so I'm directly talking to those agents right now that have people that trust them, that have done transactions with other people that would then trust them to go and be licensed, get you licensed in another state and buy another property out there. It's predictable income for you, and it shows the growth that's important for them in terms of their investment repertoire. So growth without burnout. So you want more listings and a higher volume, but you're not willing to work 60 hours per week or more. And that's what it typically takes if you don't have a predictable outcome related to having some of this AI that we use today and automation do some of the work for you. Everybody is always critical of, well, I don't want to send this out to my people, and I get that. But look, if you don't, here's what's happening. They're doing deals with somebody else. Is that what you want? Is that what you want, to have somebody else be doing deals with people that you nurtured for years and years? I don't think that's a good deal. So what we're going to talk about now is lead capture secrets to actually convert. We're going to talk about the 100K mistake most agents make and the 24/7 automated follow-up system. Now think about your current follow-up right now. You can do it whenever you want, but imagine now you had a system that was doing it with you and for you and just telling you where to be, right? It manages your business. Okay. So lead capture secrets that actually convert. So we have lead magnets, landing pages, marketing funnels that are all going to be proprietary to you. We're going to put these things together for you, and you're just going to tell us exactly what you want. We're going to also give our expertise and talk a little bit about how it's important for you to get predictability and what we've seen that works versus what doesn't work. So you can take a little bit of the guesswork out of it. And for some of you that are strong mentally and go, no, it's got to be done this way, we're going to track those variables for you so that you can see that it's great that you have that knowledge, but it's not how predictability works in a CRM necessarily. Okay. The 100K mistake that most agents make. So 80% of realtors skip this step, and it costs them roughly 30% of potential deals. And here's what it is. You guys know what it is. It's follow up, follow up, follow up, follow up. You know, a lot of you guys might be using some tools out there. You know, as I said, KV Core, Follow Up Boss. I don't know if you've noticed, but the big company Zillow out there is buying up all these small little agencies, and you can see more and more there's conflict in terms of you know putting them in a contact information to get loans as well. And I've heard online that there's some RESPA violations that might be considered there, but I don't know the full impact of it. But I do know this: when I was in the mortgage industry, I had these issues. There were things that we had to adhere to, or else we would get our license pulled. So think about that for a sec. And then finally, the 24/7 automated follow-up system. And I want you to see how AI powered chat works first. And then if you feel like you need to have an additional assistant, we can program an assistant for you. And that's going to be a really good and critical way for you to be able to, get people in to the pipeline. Okay. So uh, for those agents that are in the Las Vegas market, we only have space to work with 5 different agents out here because we would create a conflict of interest in our own neighborhood, right? But the rest of the US, we can work with anybody, and we limit it to 10 agents per area, per city, essentially, where you focus on. So there's not going to be an oversaturation. I'm going to get into the rest of this right away. So your realtor automation blueprint is something that I want you to pay close attention to. So every attendee that's going to be on this webinar today is receiving our comprehensive realtor automation blueprint. So what that is a step-by-step PDF cheat sheet, if you will, that shows you how to break down and implement these systems into your business. You're going to get a complete automation workflow diagram. You're going to get email sequence templates that we're going to put in there that are proven to convert. Lead scoring system setup guide. We're going to do that. We're going to show you exactly how to manage that or a processor that you have or somebody who understands tech. ROI tracking spreadsheet template, tech stack recommendations, and a lot of different, if you will, generic advice that's going to help you get to a place where you can start to tweak these details for your business. Okay. So that's coming up here pretty soon. So real results, $2.4 million in 90 days case study. So there was 6 new listings added just by having conversations and follow up and letting the system do its work. And from that, instead of having a struggle, let's say you're in a buyer's market. Okay. Well, and there's a medium amount of inventory. Well, if you're adding 6 listings, what's the probability if buyers are looking for homes that these things are going to sell? Well, it's a big deal. So just if you had 6 listings as an agent and you just closed one of them, imagine, and that was a sphere of influence deal versus leads from the company, what your business could look like. So now here's what I know. Unless you're avidly approaching a very aggressive plan to close deals. An agent needs one transaction per month in order to stay in the business. And if they have, and technically, if they're good at, you know, saving money, keeping money, utilizing the cash flow that they have, well, they could probably do one deal every other month and still be okay. Does that make sense? So from here, in this situation, there's $2.4 million in volume closed. So the transaction volume complete in just 90 days using automated systems. And here's what I mean by that. We did cold market outreach. We started talking to people that were interested in our system. And because we're having conversations on a daily basis, then it makes a lot of sense that things are going to be working to our advantage. Does that make sense? So in that case, there was a 40% time saving. So a reduction in time spent on administrative tasks and manual follow-ups and activities. I'm going to just go into a provocative area that people don't understand, realize, is that it takes money to make money. So a lot of times, if an agent's doing their first deal, they're not thinking about taking 25% back and having the right person process these files. A lot of times at the broker, they offer that for a particular fee. Let's say your transaction fee is normally, $400, and maybe for an extra $200 or $300, they'll add that feature so that that person's closing these transactions for you. You can really just go out and prospect, have fun, do listing appointments, bring buyers to homes, take them to escrow, get these deals open, and then finally close them. And all the other responsibilities are on your processing team or a specific person that you hire. I suggest that because the more that you can get out of that, sure, as a new agent, you want to learn it and you want to be understanding of how the process works, but it's not your responsibility. Why? Because you can't close 2 to 3 to 5 deals a month if you make it your responsibility, because you're going to be too stressed out that you missed a deadline or inspection or any of those things. So let's move on to the next. Okay. The Realtor Growth System snapshot. So here's what you get. You get professional website and lead funnels. Beautiful, conversion optimized. We basically, our team will optimize them to the way that you want them. The first thing that they're going to do is they're going to say, okay, cool. Do you have a domain? That type of thing. Our funnels will be like a subdomain of that domain. Hope I'm not getting too wide outside of tech bubble here. But then in addition to that, it's like your colors, your brand for the system, your brand for your brokerage, all those things come into play. All of the jargon that needs to be there, license numbers, etc. Okay. So then we have pre-built nurture campaigns that we're going to customize for you. They're proven sequences in SMS and email campaigns that will help you decide who you're going to work with and, perhaps who you might pass off to a team member. All right, skirt. Let me talk stock for a sec. There's some places out there that don't allow for teams. Now, if that's you and you have travel plans, you want to go all over the country, you want to go all over the world, my suggestion is that you get with a company that has that. There's a lot of them out there, Real Brokerage, EXP, I think KW has that. You guys know the usual suspects that do a global outreach scenario. And I want you to really think about your business. If you're just getting started, doesn't it make sense to start with a place that you can get referral transactions with ease in other cities? It makes a ton of sense to me. Okay. So there's going to be some strategies here that we're going to help you with as well, such as smart appointment scheduler. What I mean by that is, okay, well, imagine you had a chatbot that was installed, or if you're manually doing it, that's okay. You just have a open conversation with people, and then you say, hey, I'd love to have coffee with you. I'd love to get together with you. I'd love to get on a Zoom call. If they're right there in your area, let's say, and you're not in Los Angeles and you have to go all the way to San Diego, for instance, for this particular appointment, but you have a nice area that you can, have a million homes in where you can prospect. These appointments you can do pretty much anywhere. I suggest you create something that allows for you to have lunch with people or coffee or whatnot. Think about this for a sec. If you get to a place where you're going to Starbucks and coffee's $8 and you do that 50 times a year, right? Whatever that math is, essentially there, is you might spend $4,000. So let's say $14 for you and the other person, and essentially you're going to go in and have coffee 50 times a year. You know what you're going to spend, a couple $1,000 just to have that. But I promise you that this right here is the thing that builds community, not doing Zoom calls and stuff like that, but perhaps having interaction, going to lunches, which you should be doing anyway. You should be going out there building community, because when you build community, it's the thing that gets you to a place where you can write your paycheck. Now, do you want to write your paycheck, or do you want to be in a place where you're stuck? That's my question to you. Okay. So, next thing on the agenda here, we're going to talk a little bit about the setup options. Okay. So there is a one-time investment on this, and it's $197. It's not ridiculous. It's very inexpensive. In fact, you probably spent more on coffee personally on yourself this month, or makeup, or, man, you've probably spent more on your suits. So it's a ridiculous low ball offer, okay, that we're putting together that allows you to have all these system integrations. And that's the one-time investment. Now, are there higher levels of this where we get to have conversations surrounding honing in on exactly what you want your business to do and adding members to your team? So let's say you're a team of 50 people and you want to have a licensing fee related to setup. Well, we're going to reduce that fee on the lowest level, but there's other higher packages that we can discuss in the future. In this case, it's going to be $97 a month, right? So it's ideal for agents who prefer, very low upfront costs and want to continuous support in their systems. Hey, I got this problem. How do I fix this, etc. So it's got a full platform access and hosting, monthly system updates and improvements. Your website can be hosted in here so that you don't have ridiculous, annual fees for hosting. So let's say you got a domain, your domain was $10.37 a month, and that's what you paid. And maybe it was $20 for the year, and that's what you paid. Now you host the websites on here, and you put your IDX stuff and put everything that you're going to use for your MLS, these embed codes in here, and now you're cooking with gas, and you can have a fully customized website. In addition to that, I can add subdomains that would allow for me to put funnels in. Let's say you're in the market, you're just working for $750,000 and up. We're going to go into that on another call, but these are all cool things. Private video support library, where we're going to pre-record for your particular book of business what's going on and how to solve problems within the system. And then, of course, we're going to be available, and our team's going to be available. Now, look, we have about 20 people on our team. And so we know that this is effective for the agents that we already currently work with, and we want it to be effective for you. So let's talk a little bit about the upgraded process. Just in case you're here, look, you might be the person that is clicking the button. Now, I want you to go into the message right now and say, look, if you're interested in this, then you want to push through. You want to just get started. You want to see how it works. Okay. Look, say yes right there in the chat real quick. Okay. All right. See? So it's just priming your pump to be able to get to upgraded levels, but we don't want to push you into a place that's going to push you into overwhelm. That's really important. But let's just say you wanted hands-on support. Okay. This exclusive bonus for the first 20 agents that sign up today, they're going to get an additional $2,600 in additional value. Okay. Only for the first 20 agents. So I want you to be mindful of that. Personal coaching calls, technical support, strategy sessions to ensure the system's optimized. And our team will work directly with you to customize everything for your market and for your business model. That's huge. Okay. Otherwise, you're just buying the system and you're figuring it out with the details that we already have in the system. And that could work for you, but I don't suggest it. Okay. Um, you definitely want to be in a place where you have all the information so that you can, if you're a studier or if you're somebody who wants to read a book or some of our PDF evaluations that we have, you can get in there and do that. So complete scripts and templates pack. Look, I'll pause for a second. Let's talk about that. There's coaches out there, and I'm a real estate coach as well, but I'm more of a systematic coach. And I will tell you this. I could tell you, look, go do Mike Ferry, go do Tom Ferry, like learn that, and then decide what level of aggressive you want your follow up and conversations to be with your clients, because a lot of people don't like that, aggressive follow up. They don't like it. Well, you're paying, your pocketbook's paying. So a man saying this, I'm going to say, well, how long do you want that to be a problem? And if I was a woman, I'd say, well, yeah, I should probably learn some stuff that would allow for me to, you know, continually build my book of business and build a team so that eventually I don't have to do all these things. I could do maybe one deal a month still, and I'm getting a good percentage of team members. Because look, we're going to put leads in your system. This is something that we haven't even talked about yet. Okay. So the complete scripts and templates packs is valued $1,200, $1,297. There's over 200 proven scripts that basically allows for you to get appointments, have conversations. Somebody says always be selling, right? It's not necessarily a thing. If you're very educated and you're smart about what your business is, you don't typically have to sell. You just have to let people know what you do. And then you have to ask questions. And when I'm on a call with somebody and they want tech related stuff that they need to fix in their system, I do this. I say, I'd love to just connect with you on a call, see where that goes. I'm not trying to create a proposal or a plan for them. I want to know exactly what it is that they want to accomplish so that we can set the viable metrics to get them to a place that makes this happen 9 times out of 10. I really love Earl Nightingale. And if any of you haven't seen The World's Strangest Secret, I'd tell you to go check it out. It's on YouTube. The World's Strangest Secret. What he says is if you put a captain at the helm 9 times out of 10, you're going to get to the place that you decided to go to. Well, if you don't quit, you'll also get there. But at the same time, if you don't put any captain at the helm and you just turn on the engine and you just expect this thing's going to automate and do everything you want it to by itself, you're mistaken. You're going to wind up shipwrecked. And I certainly don't want that for you. So next, private realtor growth hub access. It's $397 is the value. Exclusive community with monthly group training calls, QA sessions, networking opportunities, other successful agents in the same situation, same systems. We have a private group that we're going to allow you to be in once you get into here and say yes. Okay. Now, guys, you can cancel at any time, but if you can't afford $97 a month, that's a tough situation. And I understand it, but we're literally going to put leads in your system. So for anybody who signs up for today, we're going to put in 500 leads in your system, 500. And here's what it's going to look like. So here's what I know. You answer your email, don't you? You see all the spam that comes in because you got a Gmail, et cetera. You don't have a professional email a lot of times. But imagine now you just had a narrowed inbox that had details from people that you do want to hear from. And we had 500 leads in your system that are in your area, that are the same type of people like you that answer their emails, such as doctors, nurses, professionally licensed people, contractors, right? I want you guys to understand something. Realtors make the world go round. Why? Why? Here's why. You're responsible for upgrades when there's repairs that needs to be done on the property. So if you have a good book of people, you have a good book of people that will help you, do windows, do construction, do upgrades, handymans. If you're in the Las Vegas area, I got somebody from you. His name's Matt, and Matt White has One Alpha Services, and he's doing a really good job. His core values are pretty clean. Here's what they are. Number one, he shows up on time. Number two, if there's a problem with something, he fixes it. Number three, he's got so much expertise that he's done these things with repetition. And if he keeps those core values, wouldn't it be okay for you to be able to work with somebody like that? It's important. So I want you to be that person and want you to choose your own core values that allow for you to have predictable results with a system like this. So we do lives in there. It's kind of like a school, but it's included in your membership. There's no additional fee for this. Okay. So simple action, right? I want you to go in and I want you to book an appointment with me. You can also book an appointment with Isaiah. We're going to run you through this 45-minute scenario that's going to allow for you to understand exactly how to use all of our systems. And this is after you've onboarded. This is after you paid for your stuff and you got in. You're going to book a conversation with us. You're going to, in the future, anything that we push through, because the information does change from time to time, you're going to go jump on one of these webinars that we have. You're going to go jump on one of these closed loop items that we have inside of our training camp. You're going to claim your bonuses and growth system. So what do I mean by that? Some of you might want to do a little bit more than what I'm discussing. So you're going to want to get on a call with us and see if there is more that you'll be eligible for or that you'll be able to work on in order for you to create a higher level experience for your clients. Maybe some of you working in a million and you want to know how to follow up with them through the system. You want to keep your number private. Okay. I'm going to just throw a little bonus here as far as details go, because I want you to understand it and I want you to know what it is. Look, if you're not doing video, if you're not spending 8 minutes a day just recording video, going to look at the pretty stuff, check out houses, maybe we're going to just do a walkthrough. You're just going to talk about your life. You're going to talk about the things in your life that make you appreciate real estate. You're going to talk about the things that you love to do in terms of hobbies. You cannot get to a place, okay, where you have 131,000 views for the month if you just don't do 8 minutes a day. That's the starting point. Now, if you want to get something like growth like that, look, growth like that creates channels that allow for you to bring in business from people that are relocating, from people that are inside your city that would otherwise not see you. And I'm talking about doing all this stuff without ads, all of it. Okay. So this is the bonus, is that if you get on here and you be valiant, it doesn't matter if you mess up. Look, the video's gone in 15 to 30 seconds and it's out there in the wild. You know, you have to decide, do I want to be informational? Do I want to be educational? Do I want to be funny? You know, there's a lot of realtors out there that get hundreds of thousands of views because they're funny and they do these parodies. Well, don't think for a second that they're not getting business. And if they're building a team, then they're even building a bigger net to cast for future business. Now, there's people at the top of these agencies, you know, that are overwhelmingly doing a lot of transactions and hitting their targets and company, you know, stock share options and stuff like that. Look, if you're a new agent, get there quick. If you're an existing agent who's been in the business for 20 years, I say, look, consider it. Look, I'm not recruiting for them. I'm not on a team. I'm not even a real estate agent. I just happen to know through years and years and years and years of struggle and relationships with other people, what they went through in order to be successful. And we just want to make this part very easy for you. Okay. So we're going to close this thing out. If you're ready right now to transform your real estate business, I want you to say, oh, yes, right there in the thread. I want you to do it right away. What we're going to be able to do is I'm going to show you how to get qualified leads. I'm going to show how to automate your follow-up sequence. I'm going to show you how to put people in a predictable pipeline so that it gives you personal notifications on where you're supposed to be once the EMD goes in, and based on whether it's a 30, 45 extended contract, whatever it is. And we're going to build systems for you that work when you're not working. So if it's exciting, if it is what you want it to be, then I say jump in right now. Let's get started. Look, this is a very small amount of money, and it's earned money that you had to blood, sweat, and tears. And if you can't afford it, I say, look, don't get into it right now. But look, here's the thing. If you have decent credit, you probably have a credit card. So I want you to tap in today in order to get all this $2,600 in additional things. I'm going to even put one more thing on the table. If for your first 30 days, you want to privately coach with me where I can help you have a predictable system for these top 20, these first 20 agents to get in here, I'm actually going to open it up right now to the first 50 agents to get in here. I just want to have fun. And some of these might need to be group calls and some of these will be one-on-one, but I want to spend a good amount of time with you so that you understand how things work. I appreciate you being here. My name is Adam Miller, Blackwire Studio, Grace Media Pros with Isaiah, Grace. And I'll tell you, we are pushing this thing so that you can have predictable business in your life and have fun. If I was to ask 90% of agents, and it's probably the 10%, which is the people that are just getting started in real estate as of last week, what do you want to do with your life? They're not going to say, oh, I want to be nailed down to a particular area and do 1 to 2 transactions a month. They're going to say, I would love to be the breadwinner in my home that would allow for my family to go travel, have fun, do things that other families that you see that other people are doing, that you see that other Hollywood stars are doing. They're having a fun lifestyle while they go show up for this one thing and they do it very well. That's the life you want to live. So if that's you and you hear what I'm saying, I'm grateful that you're here. Now, if you can just look at all this, what we covered here on this webinar, and say, you know what? I see the future and predictable business as a way to go. I want you to tap in right now. Raise your hand if you're getting started today. Okay. All right. We got some people. We got some takers there. Look, there's not quite 50 in the system there. There's at least 15 that I can see. But here's the thing. If you want to go fast and you want to start and have a leg up on business starting in 30 to 60 days from now, you'll get in here. You'll have fun. And we'll build this thing together. I appreciate you being here. Look, if anybody has any questions right now, I'm just going to, okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get on another call with you instead of answering all the questions here right now. People start to drop off at about this time. I'm just going to do a specific call with each one of you, and I look forward to connecting with you. So thanks so much. Let's make it happen.